Any commissioners have anything for Mr. Morone? We have a public hearing at 11 o'clock. Next will be County Attorney Michael Schuler.
Commissioners, only have one action item for you on my report, and that is I'm requesting board authorization to spend up to $700 on 3 surveys. This is another step in the process of having underground electric lines run from a power pole on property number 1, running across parcel number 2, across parcel number 3, and then you will have that electric line at the boundary line of Abercrombie Boat Ramp. One of the homeowners of parcel number 3 is represented by Mr. Garlick, and his client is actually paying for the cost of installing the underground electric, and they have asked that the county's share of that expense be the expense for the surveys. And frankly, it was going to be less than $300, but Duke Energy came in at the 11th hour and said, well, no, we want 3 separate surveys and 3 separate certifications. We don't want just one legal description. And technically, I think they're correct from a real property standpoint, because you've got 3 different parcels owned by 3 different entities, so each entity will have to sign an easement granting to Duke Energy the underground utility line. So I think it's a reasonable expense based on my knowledge of the cost of surveys, and frankly, it really could have easily been a lot higher. So, but I can't spend that money without board authorization.
So moved.
We have motion on the floor by Commissioner Lockley, second by Commissioner Sanders.
Yeah, we've been
Discussion?
waiting a long time for this.
We
Yeah,
have.
we need to do that to get regular lights out there to that boat ramp, cause that solar, that ain't gonna stop it from shooting the electric out of, or whatever.
Those light bulbs are a lot cheaper.
Yeah, but they cheaper, yeah. But if they shoot them, we will save $1 on that one.
And really, it lights it up, it's gonna light it up a lot better so that the cameras we have installed can catch the perpetrators, because it'll be more lit up and you'll be able to see more on the cameras. So from a surveillance standpoint, I actually talked to the guy that owns the property, one of these homeowners, next to our Abercrombie Boat Ramp and surrounding parking area. And he also said he would start helping to provide security and keeping an eye on things there. I met him at the chili cook-off, sitting there eating a bowl of chili, and the guy walks out and says, can I sit down on the bench? And I was there, I said, yeah, come on, sit down. So we got to talking, and he was actually one of the owners that we're discussing here this morning. Him and his wife's moving down and constructing a house there, so it was a good conversation. And he said, once we get it lit up where I can see, I'll help kind of keep an eye on things out there for y'all. So it's a good working relationship, and I'm glad they're allowing us to get across their property, because it's 7/10 of a mile is the reason we've never went around the actual right of way of the county. Very expensive, and it would be cost prohibitive. This way, I think it's going to get it down to where we can afford to put some lights out there. So we do have a motion and a second on the floor, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? That motion carries.
Commissioners, y'all have any questions for me about any other subject matter? If not, what's the board's pleasure? Do you want to recess and reconvene at 11 o'clock, or does the board want me to reschedule this public hearing?
No, we have the people, our health department out here. Do y'all have anything you'd like to address with the board, or any updates or anything you'd like to bring to the board? I can't remember her name. David? Marshall Lindeman, okay.
Good morning, Commissioners, and we didn't come with a presentation, we just came to say hello and be present. Are there any questions for us, the Health Department?
Well, you want to tell them that they want to say what he told us?
Sure, I think that's a great idea, actually.
Well, how have you been doing?
Yeah.
Well, of course, the board don't know, but maybe some people may know that.
Please state your name for the record.
David Walker, Operations Manager for Florida Department of Health in Franklin County. June 29th is my last day with the Health Department. I will be focused on my church full-time. It's been 13 years I've been with the, I moved here 13 years ago, back with my wife. And for 13 years, I've been splitting that duty, working and doing full-time ministry. And I just decided now it's time for me to focus on the Lord's work more in detail.
Amen.
Amen. But I still be a very good advocate for the community. I could probably do a little bit more in the community. Just focus on some things in the community that I want to focus on as well. still be a partner with the health department, with Marcia. Great job that she's doing there, but I just feel now is the time for me to focus on the ministry and more of the people in general in Franklin County. Glad to work with the board. You know, it's been a good journey. Since 2008, I started with the health department. It's been a great journey working with the board. Maybe didn't see every eye to eye together all the time, but we have one common interest, development for people in Franklin County. And so I want to thank you all for your leadership, and anything I can do for you, spiritually or non-spiritually, just let me know I'm still here in the county. But you will be in my prayers, but it's been good working with you all.
On behalf of the board, we appreciate your working with the board and what you provided to this community and your years of service.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Well, you do have a couple of minutes, and I can give you a couple updates just
Okay.
to, we had a great exercise, preparedness exercise a couple weeks ago in Carabel, at the Carabel Clinic site. What we tested was our ability to, what we pretended we had was a tornado that took out the Apalachicola Clinic. And we gathered ourselves together, we went to the Carabel site, and we stood ourselves up so that we could do some facility investigations. We went over and actually went to St. James and came back over to Wings to examine the facilities to make sure they were safe for occupancy. So we had a really good exercise. What we have in Franklin County are some staff who are well-trained and well-exercised, and we have the privilege to have a dedicated planner help us get into that state of readiness. We invited new planners from Leon, Madison, and Wakulla and Taylor to come in and learn. And so they went back pretty pumped, and our planner has received a lot of requests for more information and guidance since then. So we really are committed to responding to whatever may happen, which brings me to another update. The state is sort of strengthening its focus and its response capability for a Zika threat, locally. So we actually have staff going to a Zika roadshow the middle of this month in Tallahassee. In fact, DeWitt and the mosquito control people, Mark Cochran and the mosquito control guys in Gulf, and the Gulf Franklin clinical people, environmental health people, and planners are all going to Tallahassee. And then what our plan is, we met with DeWitt a couple of weeks ago. Our plan is when everybody comes back from this roadshow, we're expecting we may get a slightly revised playbook, if you will, on what we would do if we needed to respond. And we'll get together, and we want to be real clear in this county partnerships. What would we do if we had a traveler who arrived in Franklin or Gulf and was tested positive for Zika, or a locally acquired case, God forbid. So just want you to know we're focused on that, getting ready for that. I think we will have the Zika conversations this summer. It's just a matter of time, I think. Did you have a question, Mr. Peters?
No, ma'am.
One of our our newest environmental health hire in Franklin County just recently got his certification to do septic tank and ATU inspection, so we're real proud of him. We're real excited to have this new guy here. We have our nursing director, our clinic nurse, and our preparedness planner on the way right now to Orlando for a 2-day special needs symposium, special needs shelter symposium, so we're excited. And the last thing really quick, the county health rankings data came out last week. Franklin and Gulf both actually dropped 2 points. And we have gone through that data with a fine-tooth comb, and we don't see anything significant either in a positive trend or a negative trend that might just leap off the page and explain why there was a change at all. We're inclined to think perhaps somebody else bumped up a little bit and it adjusted us. We did send our data for both counties, though, to an epidemiologist in Tallahassee, asking them to really go through it with us. But at the end of the day, what the factors are that negatively impact the health in Franklin County are really still the same. We have adult obesity, we have adult smoking, we have a high uninsured rate and a high poverty rate. And these rankings, to be clear, this doesn't rank the health departments. This is just ranking the health outcomes of Franklin County. And so those are the things that our community health partners are working with us on. So we will continue to work on those things. sometimes it's a little bit difficult to find a cause and effect in those county health rankings data, because some of that data is like 2 or 3 years old. So some of the data that's just being reported now, the things that we're doing for the last 2 or 3 years wouldn't even touch that yet. So we're positive and hopeful because we know we're focused on the right things. But did you have any questions about that?
I think Commissioner Lockley did.
I do.
Yes, sir.
How is the Medicaid and the Medicare, is it affecting y'all?
No, sir, actually not really. We are not primary care providers, and so we're not a medical home. We don't have a contract with the Medicaid HMO in either county, actually. Helen sees patients in Carabel, Appalach, Port St. Joe, and Weewha-Hitchcock. And for the most part, she's able to bill our old previous cost-based reimbursement for Medicaid because of those core public health services that she provides. So she's, she is sustaining, with your help, the financial sustainability of the medical clinics. The one comment that I would make, I told David about this on the break, and I have to say it. Certainly in the counties, particularly the rural counties that have a high uninsured rate, the trends over the last few years has been that both counties and the state either are unable or really no longer interested in subsidizing uninsured care in the counties. But there is one entity of healthcare providers who still does get federal support, significant federal support, and that's our community health centers, our FQHCs. They get federal grant funds to provide care to the uninsured and the vulnerable. They also get an enhanced reimbursement from Medicare and Medicaid for care to those patients. So I think we still need to lobby and make sure that our legislators are clear what the vulnerable of our community will experience with continued lack of funding to provide just basic primary care, because you don't want them in the ERs. You want them in a medical home somewhere. And then I think strategic conversations with our local FQHCs about how to ensure that our primary care needs in all of these small counties, that they have a major role in providing that for what we can't do, if that makes sense. That's just my 2 cents.
And they may need additional funding, the way these things are looking at, we were discussing earlier today here when Mr. Cooper was here, all the different cuts and all the different things.
Yes, sir.
It may be they need additional funding to be able to see, more people.
Correct, right.
That has fallen through the cracks, as I was speaking earlier about. I'm sure you were listening, but we do appreciate you coming in
Sure,
today.
thank you so much for letting me
Two other items.
visit. Any other?
I'm sorry, unrelated to the health department, just. to give
Okay.
you an update.
Thank you for coming in today.
Oh, thanks.
One, just as you all go to Tallahassee tomorrow, and I didn't realize this, that Franklin County has dropped in another way. We are now the 65th smallest county in the state of Florida. When I started here almost 30 years ago, we were more like 62. But other counties in the state have grown faster than we have. So we are now the 65th smallest county. Liberty is the 66th smallest county. And actually, I couldn't find quickly who was the smallest county, but I was surprised that relative to other counties in the state of Florida, had dropped down on the
It's
list.
usually Liberty smaller than what we
I
are
know.
in Union.
Okay, I made it.
Union
I
County
didn't see which one
and
it was.
Liberty's usually.
And then the other thing is, I think at the next board meeting, you will get an update from your engineering firm about the road paving. I spoke to Clay yesterday, and so they're working on getting prices and things done on that. So some of you all have been contacted, but I hope by next meeting they'll have a list and we can move forward then and getting the rest of those roads paved that you all identified.
Mr. Chairman, I got to thinking, Alan, Michael, one of y'all, I got to thinking, how a lot of our projects that we have to do, because DeBerry Preble Ridge is our primary engineer of record in the county. And then what we have to do is always go out and get another engineering company to come in, because we got Southeastern or what that.
For the inspections.
Yeah, for the inspections. Would it be a good idea, and I don't know how you could do it, I'm just thinking off the top of my head because you said it. Would it be a good idea to kind of like have a second engineering firm out there to where we wouldn't have to go and do all that it would be automatic and it could save some time getting projects done?
We need to check with DOT, because that's not a bad idea, if it'll
I'm
save us
just
some time.
saying.
because it might, what I don't want to do is have two sort of on retainer, and then DOT say, well, you got both those two, you need to have a third one now, because we have to have our own bidding process. So I just need to, I'm not opposed to what you're saying, I just don't want to
Just
make
check
it a
into
problem.
it and see what.
Actually, on that, I talked to Mark Currington last week about that. You know, him and Michael's been going to all these DOT meetings. They've missed several of our meetings, attending those meetings, and, he's working on that issue for us.
Good.
Because he sees it being a problem, and he's working with DOT to see exactly what they, as you stated, Alan, exactly what are they gonna require before we make that step.
Yeah,
But-
because a
but
lot
Mark-
of times, you know, we gotta go out and bid it, and that's a month down the road, so you're pushing this project down, you know, and with scrap coming on board and all that, you're gonna have a lot more money to be able to do a lot more projects with.
And almost
So,
every DOT project now is going to require a separate engineering firm.
That's what I'm saying.
So Mark Currington, as a county planner, is working on that.
Good.
He reported that to the
You're
chair.
right, Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
'cause like he was telling us filling out some of the applications have separate requirements, not like determining man hours and stuff like that.
Right.
The problem is with that, that's the low money maker on the totem pole, so which of your engineering firms are gonna want to do that one? But we're working that out though.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, because I talked to a lot of other counties, and that's what they've got. They've got like 2 engineering firms that they go out to, and then that's the reason why they get all the roads like they do.
FDOT is requiring that.
Well, well, we still got the paving company, they still mobile in the county, right?
Well, we finished one paving contractor. We still have another one who's mobilized. So, yeah, we're working, yes. So we're gonna get the end result you want, yes.
He's just waiting on,
We're waiting on finishing some of the design work.
that's correct.
Okay, I'm kinda, I don't want them to have to pay that mobile fee to come back.
I don't think, I'm not sure that, I don't think that's the problem. I think it's just getting everything, all the design work done so the paving company knows what he's supposed to do.
I think they're working in the adjacent county too, so they're ready when we tell them to come back. The board recessed for a few minutes. We got a public hearing at 11 o'clock.
Yes.
That clock is so.
Yeah, you got actually 4 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah.
We need to have him straighten that clock up
I'm
after
gonna
the
go
meeting.
talk to Teresa. I'm gonna go talk to Teresa when we get out of this meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause it's 11:05, and that's wrong.
Y'all ready?
Yeah, I'm in.
Board of County Commissioners is now in session. I'll turn it over to Mr. Shooter with the public hearing.
All right, good afternoon, or good morning, Commissioners. This is the first of 2 readings of a Franklin County ordinance, and it is entitled An Ordinance of Franklin County, Florida Regulating Adult Entertainment, Providing Definitions and Exceptions, Providing an Effective Date, and Providing Penalties. This is an update of your present adult entertainment ordinance, and it is being updated for 2 purposes. One is to close the loophole that was found in, I guess, March of 2016, that would have, it would not prohibit outdoor adult entertainment. That loophole has been closed, and you will find that closure on pages 18 and 19. On section 4A, it specifically requires that any allowable adult entertainment shall be within a commercial establishment located within an enclosed building, which shall be heated and cooled. On page 19, on subparagraph 6, prohibited uses, it specifically prohibits any performance which occurs outside of a building. So that loophole has been closed, not once, but twice. Tap. The other purpose of updating the ordinance was just to update your 20-year-old ordinance and bring it up to speed with the current state of the law. And I also want to mention that embodied within this ordinance are findings of fact that have been drafted by the outside consultant, the First Amendment consultant that you allowed me to confer with. His name is Dr. Eric Damian Kelly. He is both an attorney and expert in this field. And I wanted to make certain that we at least got on the record that the board has read the findings of fact contained within the ordinance and that you are in agreement with them. And this will be the first of 2 public hearings, so there will not be any vote on this ordinance today. But I did want to get, if the board members had any questions about the findings of fact, let's discuss them now. Otherwise, I will presume by silence that the board is familiar with the findings of fact and that you accept them as embodied within the ordinance. Does the board have any questions for me about the ordinance?
Mr. Chairman, can I ask one? Just out of curiosity.
Commissioners,
I'm not a commissioner, I'll say it here.
is there any public comment?
Alan?
Yes, I have a public comment. Why are we having two readings on an ordinance when, is there a special requirement for this kind of ordinance to have two readings?
It is out of an abundance of caution, because could be arguably a land use regulation as opposed to just typically, one public hearing is required when there's a mere exercise of the police power. In this case, one of the ways that attorneys successfully challenge such ordinances is they say it is a land use regulation which requires two public hearings, much as we just recently did with the Sands North issue.
Okay.
That actually was a land use regulation requiring two public hearings. So out of an abundance of caution and wanting to take out of the, another bullet out of the gun that people would try and shoot our ordinance down with.
No public comment?
Close.
Let the record show, no public comment. Move on?
Yes, sir.
We-
We'll close the public hearing, and you can move on to, I guess, commissioner comment and public comment. The second public hearing on this ordinance will be held on April 18th at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time in this building.
Okay, I have a gentleman from Appalachia Region. Please come forward and state your name for the record, sir.
I'm Bruce Ballister with the Appalachia Regional Planning Council. Just wanted to inform the board that we are completing a study, a freight logistics zone study that incorporates Gulf County, Franklin County, Liberty County, and Gaston County, centered on the route of the AN Railroad. The freight logistics zone would provide duty-free transport for materials that came into Florida to a proposed logistics center in Gaston County, west end of Gaston County, about where the railroad crosses I-10 and triangle with Highway 12. But the summit, the second summit for that proposed zone will be April 27th in the Veterans Hall in Bristol. We invite you all to come. Send somebody you want to, but I think it's great for y'all to understand what's going on. Some of the sites, strategic sites that have been identified in this study, most of them in Franklin County were centered around the airport, in the triangular wedges between the airport, between the runways, and a fairly large tract immediately west of it. There are some other sites that have been identified. I don't believe they're going to graduate to phase 2 because of their ownership. But the freight logistics zone designation is another checkoff list in the kind of things that people look for when they want to do a location for a new job opportunity. And it is also another checkbox for people to get passed off if they want to get funding from DOT.
That could tie into some of the studies that we're doing.
This is
Alan?
Warren Yeager study.
Okay.
And so I went to the first summit, I presume I'll be going to the second summit. But yeah, so the sites that we looked at and the consultants evaluated them were based upon their accessibility to transportation hubs, and that being the railroad and the airport. So that's why they were focused on that in that area over there. So we'll see where it leads. I mean, but he's exactly right. This is a stair-stepping approach to building. I know Commissioner Lockley has wanted, as we all do, jobs to be created. The state of Florida, the economy the world that we live in, the economies that we have now is just are complicated, and you have to continue to push yourself up the ladder till you finally meet all the requirements for corporate America to come in here and build a factory. I mean, it's very competitive, and we just have to work our way up to get to that point.
And this is just another stepping stone for
Yes,
that.
that's
It's
correct.
also, it will allow us, should the opportunity arise, to access more Triumph funds.
That's correct.
Being
Correct.
located within this zone.
Absolutely.
So it's all advantageous to us. And I do appreciate you bringing that forward to us this morning. Another issue with the Appalachia Regional Planning Council is they want to redesignate the representative. I've talked to Chris, told him that I would be willing to do it. We need an alternate. There's some months that I won't be able to make that. And I think Commissioner Lockley has expressed a desire to be the alternate and attend when I could not attend. I've not been able to attend the last couple of meetings, but I do talk to Chris and read all the information that is put out in the board packet from the Appalachia Regional Planning Council.
It would be great, sir, to have an alternate come when you can't make it.
Exactly.
The formats have changed to where it's not just, staff sitting and giving reports. There's a lot better discussion now. We're a lot more focused on economic development and emergency management. Those are our two primary focuses. So
I would ask
I'll
them.
make a motion to put you and Mr. Lockley in there and pick the audit and you can start.
Well, I've been doing it based on, it used to be Commissioner Jacklin and I was the alternate. Well, I started trying to go, and I've attended a few meetings, but I'm not able to go all the time, especially this particular time of the year. So I do appreciate that. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Massey, second by Commissioner Sanders. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. So you can report back that we do have a,
Great.
How
Thank
often
you,
y'all
thank you,
meet?
Commissioners.
every 2 months, I think.
Yes, sir.
Every
We
2
just-
months.
We just met at the end of this month.
Six times a year or 4 times a year?
6,
So it's every 2 months, and
right.
so.
Unless something, unless we have a special call meeting for something that needed to happen, but right now. it's every
And we do
2 months.
appreciate you coming in today.
We are, my visit today is the beginning of a presence that we're going to try to get down once a month to all of our commissioner board meetings across our region. My personal announcement, I'll come next time with my replacement. 'Cause
Okay.
I'm
I know
about to,
Chris told me he was gonna start trying to have somebody here once a month.
Right.
And that's advantageous, keeping us abreast of everything that's going on with the Appalachian Region Planning
So
Council.
my replacement in economic development is going to be a person who comes straight out of the Department of Community, not Department of Community Affairs. DEO.
Okay.
Long habit. Yeah, DEO's, we're getting one of their brightest people, so happy to have him.
Y'all gonna find my people some jobs?
We're doing our best. One of the aspects of doing the freight logistics zone study is to create those extra opportunities and provide additional incentives for those places for people to locate.
If they wanna go to work, cause the prison got newspaper full of jobs and the bus drivers need them.
We appreciate you coming in today.
Mr. Chairman.
They won't.
So
Yes.
what time is the meeting going to be in Bristol?
Oh,
You
excuse
said a
me.
date.
The last Thursday of the month at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
That's the 20,
7th, yeah, you said the time, a date and a location, but not the time.
You mean 10 Central or 10 Eastern?
right, that's the 27th at 10
Eastern.
Eastern,
It's
Bristol.
in Liberty, it's Eastern.
It's in Bristol, yes, yeah.
Same time we got Bristol, Youngstown, different.
Alan, did you say you would be attending
I was
this?
planning to go to that also.
Could we have a motion by the board to reimburse Alan's travel if he attends this summit on behalf of the board? We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Lockley, second by Commissioner Sanders. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? That motion carries.
And you're all welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Public comment?
What about, you gonna deal with her?
Yeah. We need to deal with that now. We have Ms. Lois Saboto. Could you come to the podium, please? Ms. Lois has volunteered to be the county's representative on the Transportation Disadvantage Board. We've been waiting for about a month to try to find somebody that actually used the system to represent the county on that board, but I don't know of anybody. I brought this up at the last meeting, if you remember. No other commissioners have volunteered or found anybody that could serve and represent the county on that board. She requested and said she would be willing to volunteer on behalf of the county on that board, but we need a motion, a vote by the board.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Massey, second by Commissioner Sanders, to designate Ms. Lois Saboto as our representative on that Transportation Disadvantage Board. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries.
Thank you.
There being no public comment, commissioner comments? No commissioner comments, meeting adjourned.
No, go ahead and send that